Tejas, Sachin, and Akash's wild night, the Drunken Debacle. In the latest episode of Udne Ki Aasha, the night begins with a storm as Tejas, clearly intoxicated, hurls insults at his brother Sachin, whose own condition isn't much better. How is it that you, the self-proclaimed truth-teller, are standing there like a statue of honesty? You bloody fool, get out of here. Tejas taunts, his words slurring. His fiery glare is enough to make Sachin pause, but the younger brother doesn't back down. In the midst of the chaos, Riya is trying to calm down Akash, whose drunken antics are making things worse. She demands that he stand up straight, but Akash, in his own world, simply grins. Over on the other side, Sayali sees the mess her brothers-in-law are creating and tells Sachin that they need to pull themselves together. The effect of alcohol is so visible on all three of them that it is clear no one is thinking straight. Meanwhile, Roshan asks Riya about the cab that was supposed to arrive. Riya, trying to stay calm amidst the madness, reassures her that it's just about to show up. As if to mock her, Sachin, who is still dancing to the rhythm of his own thoughts, says, "I don't need a cab. I'm a pro driver." His words are met with a mix of laughter and concern from everyone around him. Sayali quickly steps in, warning him that no one can drive in such a state. She adds, "We all know how you are right now. Driving isn't a good idea." But Sachin, in a fit of stubbornness, insists that he hasn't had a single drop to drink, despite his staggering condition. This only makes Sayali more worried, fearing what would happen if Kaka sees them in such a mess. She says, "If Kaka sees all of you like this, he'll be furious." Trying to ease the situation, Riya assures Sayali that Kaka must have already gone to bed. However, Roshan, who has a knack for making things more uncomfortable, quips, "But Kaku must be awake by now, right?" The cab finally arrives, and everyone stumbles out to board. As they pile into the car, Tejas, still in his boss mood, orders the driver to speed up, clearly treating the ride like a joke. "This is not some serious ride, it's a celebration," he announces confidently, as if he owns the world. From the back seat, Sachin interrupts, demanding that the driver slow down. "Drive slowly," he says. "Tejas, stop pretending like you're some big shot. Not everyone bows down to you." Akash, drunk as well, chimes in. "Yeah, Tejas bye, you always think you're the leader, but you're just a joke." Tejas, hearing this, loses his temper. "I'm the eldest, don't forget that," he snaps, as if that should settle the argument.
But Sachin, ever the rebellious one, responds, "Being the eldest doesn't give you the right to control us." Akash, sensing that things are getting out of hand, tries to lighten the mood by saying, "By height, the real big brother looks like he's sitting here." But Tejas, in no mood to be humored, shoots back a sharp warning, "Stay in your place, both of you. I'm the eldest, and you'll respect that." The conversation turns into a full-blown argument, with Tejas ordering the driver to speed up again. At this point, the driver, exasperated by the constant noise, pulls over and complains to Sayali, Riya, and Roshan, "Please handle your husbands. If this continues, I might just slap them to shut them up." Sachin, ever the troublemaker, quips back, "Do you get slapped by your wife then? Are you trying to get us beaten too?" The mood in the car becomes even more tense, but Sayali steps in, asking the driver to focus on his driving and ignore the noise. To break the tension, the driver starts playing music, and slowly, the drunken brothers start dozing off. Sachin, too tired to keep his eyes open, even removes his suit jacket and falls into a deep sleep. As the car continues its journey, Roshan quietly notices Sachin's phone lying in his pocket. She quickly decides this is her chance. With a swift hand, she takes his phone and stealthily slips it into Tejas' pocket, thinking to herself, "Now, I've got what I need." Once the car reaches the house, the wives help their husbands out, each one stumbling as they try to keep their balance. Sachin, barely able to stay upright, leads the way. But Tejas, in his drunken state, grabs hold of Sachin, asserting, "I'm the eldest son, I go inside first." As they walk toward the door, Roshan, in a low voice, says to herself, "Now that I have Tejas' pocket, I need to get the video out from that phone before this all becomes a distant memory." Tejas, still the self-proclaimed king, makes a joke as they approach the door.
I'm the king of this house, he says, acting as if he's returning to his royal domain. But as he reaches for the door handle, he trips and nearly falls, only for Roshan to quickly step in and catch him. Meanwhile, Akash, still drunk, begins dancing and shouting, "Good morning," despite the fact that it's the middle of the night. Riya, horrified by the scene, warns him, "If Kaka and Auntie wake up now, we'll be in serious trouble." As everyone tries to manage the chaos, Roshan takes another chance to retrieve the phone from Tejas's pocket. But Tejas, still too intoxicated, grabs her hand and starts complimenting her in a drunken daze. She's unable to get the phone, but her frustration grows. Meanwhile, Sachin stumbles over to Fayali and says, "Ladies first, you should hold me up." Sayali, unable to hold back her sarcasm, retorts, "Look at you. You've caused enough trouble tonight, and now you want to lecture everyone else?" Sachin, not missing a beat, responds, "If these guys drink foreign liquor, they end up like this. They don't know how to handle it." Sayali, exasperated, snaps back, "And you? You can't even stand straight. Stop pretending like you're better than them." As the argument continues, Akash and Sachin both raise their voices, creating a ruckus. The atmosphere becomes unbearable, and Sayali, sensing that things are getting out of hand, turns to Roshan. "We need to call Kaku," she says. "Otherwise, this nonsense will never stop." Roshan, reluctantly agreeing, decides it's time to wake Kaku. Just then, Akash, in a fit of drunken energy, begins banging on the door, shouting loudly. Kaku, clearly irritated, opens the door to find his 3 sons in a complete mess. Akash, ever clueless, greets him with a loud, "Good morning." Kaku, stunned by the sight, responds with a confused, "Good morning." But Tejas tries to salvage the situation, greeting him with a "good afternoon" in his slurred voice. Kaku, not one to be fooled, mimics his son's words, sarcastically repeating, "Good afternoon." Sachin, unable to resist, chimes in, calling both of his brothers crazy, causing Kaku to laugh and remark, "You're no better, Sachin." The mood becomes increasingly tense as Kaku, now fully aware of what's going on, confronts Akash directly, asking, "Did you drink too?" Akash, trying to act innocent, stumbles over his words, claiming that he only had a little. Riya, however, doesn't let him off the hook, revealing, he's completely drunk and can barely stand. Kaku, his patience running thin, scolds them. "You've had so much to drink that you can't even walk properly. What were you thinking?" Sachin tries to defend himself, stumbling forward and attempting to walk straight to prove that he isn't as drunk as the others. But Kaku warns him, "Stay away from me. I don't want to deal with you right now." As the situation continues to spiral, Renu, Kaku's wife, enters the scene. Seeing her sons stumbling in from their night out, she's initially happy, but quickly notices their state. Akash, in his drunken delirium, starts singing "Happy Birthday" loudly, declaring it's Renu's special day. The 3 brothers, now completely off-key, join in, making a scene in the middle of the night. "What's going on here?" Renu asks Kaku, her confusion evident. Kaku, still struggling to understand what's happening, answers, "This has been going on for a while now, and now the truth is out." Renu turns to Sayali, her frustration mounting. "Now you must be happy," she snaps. "Your husband isn't the only one drinking now the other 2 have joined." The tension among the family members reaches new heights. Parash, the father, is firm in his stance when it comes to dealing with his sons, Tejas, Sachin, and Akash. As the 3 brothers stumble home, clearly intoxicated, they are met with an unexpected confrontation. Parash blocks their way, not allowing them to enter the house. While the daughters-in-law are permitted to go inside, Parash makes it clear that his sons will have to spend the night outside. Sachin, always trying to wriggle out of trouble, quickly points out that according to the ladies' first rule, the women should enter first, and the men can follow. But Parash is unwavering in his decision. Tejas, in a mockingly sweet tone, asks if Parash is going to perform an arti for him, joking that he must have earned it after cracking a major business deal. He also asks if he should enter the house with his right foot or left. But Parash, now at the peak of his anger, makes it clear that no son of his will be stepping foot inside tonight. The tension is palpable, and Parash delivers the final word. Renuka, worried about the neighbors' opinions, tries to intercede, asking Parash to reconsider. But Parash, not caring for external judgment, explains that when the brothers were openly drinking in public, they had no concern for what anyone thought. Now, it's time for them to learn a hard lesson. The brothers, desperate to get inside, each try their own tactics. Akash, being the youngest, appeals to his father's sense of mercy. Tejas flaunts his seniority, and Sachin attempts to guilt-trip Parash into letting them in. However, Parash remains unmoved. Sayali steps in, pleading with Parash to allow the brothers inside. But Riya, with a firm and logical approach, argues that the brothers deserve to be punished and should remain outside. Meanwhile, Rosny, who has her own worries, is silently concerned. How will she be able to get her hands on Sachin's phone if Tejas stays outside? She, too, asks Parash to allow the brothers inside, but Parash stands his ground. The drama escalates as Parash reiterates that this is his final decision, and the brothers will spend the night outside. He shuts down any further appeals. In the midst of all this, the three brothers vow never to drink again, but Parash isn't interested in hearing empty promises. He remains adamant. Renuka, still uneasy, asks if the brothers will sleep outside. Parash coldly states that they will. But the situation isn't over yet. Renuka points out that it's late, and the neighbors might start gossiping about the brothers sleeping outside. But Parash counters that when they were openly drinking in public, they didn't care about such things. This moment highlights the tension between the father and sons, and Parash's resolve is clear. No mercy this time. Meanwhile, Rosny, sensing that the night is slipping away, wonders how she will be able to retrieve Sachin's phone with everything unfolding the way it is. Sayali, sensing her discomfort, pleads with Parash once more. She argues that the brothers have suffered enough, and a little kindness in this harsh weather would be an act of mercy. But Parash is resolute. He reminds Sayali that he has already made a mistake by forgiving Sachin in the past, and if he lets them inside now, things will only get worse. Riya, ever the strong voice of discipline, agrees with Parash, urging that the brothers should face the consequences of their actions. Akash, not one to give up easily, sarcastically asks Riya if she's his wife or a dictator. In a response that cuts to the bone, Riya retorts that the brothers shouldn't even be given pillows or blankets, forcing them to sleep on the floor so they can fully understand the consequences of their behavior. This only escalates the situation, and Akash begins to argue back, claiming he's the youngest and should be treated with more leniency. But Riya, unfazed, insists that the brothers have to be taught a lesson. The argument continues, but Parash refuses to budge. Even though Renuka and Sayali continue to plead with him, Parash remains firm in his decision. The tension between father and sons is growing, and it seems like nothing can change his mind. Finally, he tells Sayali and Rosny to go inside and rest, but they refuse to give up so easily. Still, Parash, unrelenting, finally shuts the door, leaving his sons standing outside. As the night wears on, Tejas, Sachin, and Akash stand outside, their feet dragging as they try to accept their fate. But it's clear that none of them are happy with the situation. Tejas, in particular, grows increasingly agitated and begins to rant. He doesn't understand how his father can throw him out of the house like this, especially when he believes he has power and influence. He starts to boast about his newfound power, claiming he's the ruler of the entire state. But Sachin, ever the sarcastic one, mocks him, telling him that if he says such things in front of Baba, his situation will only get worse. It's a moment of frustration for all three brothers, as their anger and disappointment begin to take over. The tension is palpable as they continue to argue. The three of them share a moment of bitterness, blaming one another for the predicament they find themselves in. Sachin in particular reflects on how, in the past, he would have just walked in and gone straight to bed without any problems. But now, because of Tejas and his reckless behavior, things have gotten out of hand. Meanwhile, inside, Sayali and Rosny are trying to figure out how to get the situation under control. They are concerned particularly about how long Tejas, Sachin, and Akash will be left outside. And yet, inside, the drama only intensifies as Sachin continues to complain about the mosquitoes and the lack of comfort. He raises a ruckus, clearly irritated by the situation. His voice grows louder as he starts to battle the mosquitoes, his words growing more nonsensical with every passing second. This catches Sayali's attention, and she rushes outside, concerned that the brothers might be fighting. However, when Sayali steps out, she is met with a bizarre scene. Sachin, in his drunken state, is ranting about the mosquitoes, making it seem like a battle of epic proportions. He continues his tirade, but Sayali remains calm, gently reminding him that he should have thought about this before drinking. She tries to calm him down, but instead, Sachin begins to compliment her, claiming that she is the true businesswoman of the family. His words are genuine, but laced with an underlying flirtation. Sayali, taken aback but still polite, listens as Sachin goes on, praising her beauty and how she outshone everyone at the party. His words seem to have an effect on her, and for a moment she blushes. However, she remains cautious, knowing that Sachin is still trying to charm his way back into the house. But as the conversation continues, it becomes clear that he's using this moment to gain Sayali's favor, perhaps even to manipulate her into helping him. Meanwhile, inside, Rosny watches with growing irritation as the flirtation between Sachin and Sayali continues. She mutters to herself, frustrated by how the two can't seem to keep their distance. Rosny becomes even more determined to get her hands on Sachin's phone, which she believes is key to her plans. Back outside, the playful banter continues. Sachin offers Sayali his coat, a gesture that seems more like a ploy to get closer to her than a genuine act of kindness. But Sayali, while flattered, refuses. The two continue their back and forth, each trying to navigate the tension in their own way. But as the scene progresses, it's clear that while the brothers remain outside, the tension within the house is only growing. Finally, as the episode comes to a close, we are left with the lingering questions. Will Rosny be able to get Sachin's phone? How will the brothers' rivalry continue to unfold? And will Parash's tough love strategy break the cycle of bad behavior in the family?